An estimated 66 development wells are projected for 2019, with approximately 2/3 being undertaken by Trinity, lease operatorship, farm-outs, and incremental production sharing contract. The impact of the planned development activity will result in both increased oil and gas production. Natural gas production is projected to increase to 3.9 BCF per day in 2019. As new developments such as BPTT's Angeline Field comes on stream and production from Shell's field in the ECME, Starfish and Dolphin, and Renovables' Iguana Field are optimized. Near-term developments include Shell's Colibri project on the North Coast, comprising Block 22 and NCMA 4, and on the East Coast, Block 5C. Discussions on a gas sales contract for the Dragon Field are in train, as well as development plans for cross-border fields in Venezuela, Lauren Manatee, and Manikin Coquina, despite what is happening. Oil production, as we all know, has been declining steadily, but is projected to stabilize and increase in 2019. The lease operators, farm-out, and incremental production sharing contracts have projected that their oil production will be maintained at 2018 levels of approximately 8,000 barrels of oil per day. And ladies and gentlemen, I make no apologies when I defend this program, contrary to other interests in the society. It has been the single most successful program that has maintained land production at the level that it has done. Had it not been for that, we would have been in a much worse situation than we are in today. The new state-owned company, Heritage Petroleum Company, which acquired the petroleum assets, has also projected that oil production from its land and marine acreage would average 30,000 barrels per day, based on increased workovers and a new drilling program. The total production, including equity production, is projected to be 40,000 barrels per day. In the near term, the company will be pursuing the development of the resources of its Southwest Soldado acreage. We've heard that for so many years. In this regard, Heritage Petroleum has been reviewing 3D seismic on the blocks in order to identify potential exploration prospects. Trinity Exploration and Production Limited is also gearing up to bring oil production on stream from its Teagal fields in the Galeota block by first quarter of 2020. It is estimated that production from this development could reach 5,800 barrels per day by 2024. In December 2018, BHP declared commerciality for its Ruby field in Block 3A. Preliminary estimates indicate that production could reach as high as 10,000 barrels per day. And ladies and gentlemen, for a very long time, we haven't had an oil discovery with the potential, the production profile of approximately 10,000 barrels per day. The outlook for oil production in Trinidad and Tobago is now therefore very promising, and both Southwest Soldado and Ruby offer the best opportunity at this time to revitalize oil production in this country. Indeed, based on current information, it is not an exaggeration that the future of the oil industry in Trinidad and Tobago hinges largely on the future and the future success of Heritage. The government took a chance after clearly analytical work to do what we did in attempting to revitalize Petrotrin into a new business model. We've hinged our success on an operator for the refinery, which the Prime Minister spoke of yesterday, and by and large, to increase our production base on land and on the West Coast through Heritage Petroleum Company. We eagerly await the outcome of this. Energy has and continues to be the main driver for the development of our economy, notwithstanding initiatives being undertaken with diversification. In that context, Trinidad and Tobago, as other energy producers, so aptly demonstrated by the Honorable Prime Minister in his presentation to the nation, is subject to the volatility of the global oil and gas markets. Energy prices have been extremely volatile over the last 3 years. Oil prices, WTI, which has been relatively stable over the period 2010 to 2014, dropped to US $48 per barrel by 2015. This represented a decline of 49% from the average price for the period 2010 to 2014. The situation continued to deteriorate, and in 2016, the WTI oil price fell to as low as $26. There was an improvement in 2017, in which the WTI price averaged 50, and this continued with an average price of $65 in 2018, notwithstanding the collapse at the end of the year. Henry Hub gas prices also fluctuated with highs and lows. However, following a steep fall in 2016, prices have exceeded $3 per MMBTU annually. The oil and gas industry is cyclical, as everybody knows, with boom and bust cycles of high and low prices. The downside is that the industry pulls back on investment during the low price periods. It has been suggested that investment is at an all-time low in the global industry, and this will have implications for future supplies. On the positive side, however, innovation doesn't stop during low price periods. Indeed, it appears to be the order of the day. Companies focus their efforts on efficiency in bringing oil and gas to market at lower cost. Some of these efforts focus on improving current processes, such as drilling longer laterals and fracking more efficiently, as in shale and tight oil and gas wells. While the US may have taken the lead in the advancement of such techniques, other countries such as Saudi Arabia and Russia are all testing and using horizontal drilling and fracturing as the technology of the future. The oil and gas industry has also seen a trend in the use of digital technologies, including sensors, data analytics, and automated systems to lower costs and improve efficiency. Digital technology has been around for some time, and its adoption has only been accelerated due to the downturn in the industry. It has been predicted that digital technologies have the potential by 2050 to increase production by 4% and reduce costs by 13%. The industry has also seen the development of new technology solutions that improve its capability in deep and ultra-deep water. There have been advances in technologies for deep water drilling, floating production, subsea well tie-in and tiebacks, and hub design, among others. However, geophysical and geological data are the foundation on which successful projects are built. I say so as a geologist myself. They provide critical insight into structure, rock properties, and in situ reservoir characteristics, which guide well placement, completion, and production optimization strategies. Seismic technologies, ladies and gentlemen, have advanced from the reflected seismograph, which first revolutionized petroleum exploration in the 20s, to today's advanced seismic technologies, like ocean bottom seismic and independent simultaneous source technologies, and processing technologies like full waveform inversion and finite difference modeling. The development of these improved technologies have resulted in quantum leap in the quality of the reservoir image and produced and is a process which is efficient and cost effective. Trinidad and Tobago oil and gas stands to benefit from the application of technology. We have already seen the positive impact of the introduction of advanced seismic technology. In 2013, BPTT conducted a Columbus Basin seismic survey, which was designed to progress resources and to discover new prospects in existing and future major gas fields. The 1,000 square kilometer high-density 3D ocean bottom sensor program was the first commercial use of the independent simultaneous source, ISS, technology with seabed acquisition. The application of the advanced technology was instrumental in adding significant proven reserves to its Angeline gas fields beyond its original estimate of 1.5 TCF. In March 2014 until February 2015, BHP conducted a staggering 20,000 square kilometers 3D seismic survey in the deepwater blocks for which they had successfully signed production sharing contracts in 2012 and 2013. This survey was the largest undertaking by an international oil company globally, covering an area nearly 4 times the size of Trinidad and Tobago's landmass, and utilized ultra-capacity vessels Ramform Titan and Ramform Atlas. The results of the survey were instrumental in identifying gas prospects and ultimately discoveries in blocks TTDA-5 and more recently TTDA-14. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's one company that is deserving of a major gas find for all that effort, it is BHP. Sometimes in life you don't get what you deserve. However, the invectors will be back in town later this month for another 3, possibly 4-well program. And let's all wish them the best. The application of seismic technologies was also utilized by BHP in isolating production deposits in blocks 3A to the extent that the company is now in a position to develop these reserves. The use of advanced seismic technology is now widespread throughout the industry and has given a new lease on life in the domestic oil and gas industry, particularly the so-called mature fields. All of the energy companies have been reappraising their portfolios with some degree of success. In fiscal 2018, upstream companies drilled in excess of 50 wells with a fair degree of success. This augurs well for the industry and for the future. Armed with the new geological data, the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries have been reevaluating marginal gas fields with the objective of producing hydrocarbons in these fields. A study undertaken by the Ministry of Energy estimates reserve of these fields in the region of 3 to 5 TCF. One of the challenges faced in developing these fields is the cost of infrastructure associated with their development. However, the problem is not insurmountable. Hub design has come a long way, and solutions can be found. In the case of facilities that are underutilized, tiebacks can cause the reserves of marginal fields to be economically produced. However, if such facilities are not available, the operator or operators can establish a common hub which such fields can be produced. There is an extensive infrastructure network in our domestic energy sector. As Minister, I strongly advocate amongst the upstream companies the collaborative development operations of hub structures, either through joint ventures or accommodation of multiple operators by a third party. Such arrangements will allow for the economic development of marginal gas fields. That's what we have. That's what we have to develop. The majority of these fields are in acreage held by upstream companies under license or contracts. Accordingly, the ministry will be engaging the companies on a strategy for the development of these resources. In 2019, as is known, the ministry hopes to issue new acreage arising out of our shallow water bid round for blocks in the marine areas of the northeast and west coast, namely NCMA 2, NCMA 3, blocks UC, 4C, Lower Reverse L, and Block 1B in the Gulf of Paria. There has been a strong interest by the major upstream companies, and we look forward to a positive outcome. The contract arrangements for these blocks will be based on the new model production sharing contracts, in which royalty will now be paid by the contractor. That's a fact of life. This is in keeping with government's philosophy that the state must be assured of a steady stream of revenue, which this modification ensures. Not significant revenue, but a predictable, steady stream of revenue is important in running the business of government. Thereafter, the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries will be considering the launch of a new deepwater bid round. The ministry proposes to re-invite nominations on the available open deepwater blocks, which in 2017 had engendered interest in 9 blocks. The bid round will be informed by advanced seismic data currently in the ministry's possession and the result of a multi-client survey commissioned by the ministry. The survey, which is named the Caribbean Atlantic Deep Margin Deep Imaging Seismic Survey, is for the acquisition of 2D seismic data over the Tobago Basin, offshore Trinidad and Tobago. The shooting of prime lines full started on January 8, 2019, and is 50% completed. The survey comprises 2 components, one local and the other regional. The local component of the survey will be conducted in the deepwater blocks in the northwest marine area of Tobago and covers 2,059 kilometers. The regional component encompasses the marine area of Trinidad, Grenada, St. Vincent, and Barbados, which will cover 11,500 line kilometers. The conduct of the regional survey is a testimony to the interest shown by major oil and gas companies in the Caribbean in the search for new hydrocarbon resources. In the longer term, the ministry is excited about the prospect of acquiring new marine acreage. Little is said about this, but TNT, as a coastal state, is a signatory to the UN Convention for the Law of the Sea. And we are currently seeking to delineate the outer limits of our continental shelf, beyond the 200 nautical miles in accordance with Article 76 of the Convention, that is beyond your exclusive economic zone, once you have an extended continental shelf going out. The delineation of Trinidad and Tobago's continental shelf beyond its EEZ would put this country in a position to exploit the natural resources to be found on the extended portion of its continental shelf. We submitted our claims to the convention in April of 2009. That's almost 10 years ago. And are currently preparing to defend our claims to the UN subcommission when called upon to do so, which we expect could be as early as later this year. We've waited 10 long years. Our claims to the UN Commission on the limits of the continental shelf, if successful, would extend our maritime jurisdiction seawards to the outer edge of our continental margin. So that is a big player. This would be major development, as it would extend our boundaries to areas in close proximity to the Guyana-Suriname Basin, in which major hydrocarbon discoveries have already been made. While the UN Convention approves the claims submitted by each country, it does not determine ownership. TNT will therefore have to engage in negotiations with Barbados, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana to apportion ownership. And sometimes it's more difficult to negotiate among CARICOM neighbors than anybody else, but it's something we will have to do. This country, therefore, has an opportunity to increase its access to potential oil and gas resources. However, opportunities are like sunrises. If you wait too long, you miss them. You can therefore be assured that we will pursue this matter aggressively. And now, I'll deal finally with the hot topic of this century. The global focus on clean energy has given rise to the view that oil and gas are endangered commodities. But I must say we have to defend our territory. But the history of the oil and gas industry has been one of continuous challenges, matched by adaptation and innovation. The oil and gas sector has, from its outset, always been wide open to innovation and every kind of modern technology. Technological advances have constantly shaped and reshaped every stage of our industry, from exploration right through the final stages. The modern collection and analysis of seismic data, for instance, is far removed from the rudimentary methods employed in the early oil and gas exploration. Floating production, storage, and offloading, FPSO, and floating liquefied natural gas, FLNG, vessels are just a few of the new developments that demonstrate the advancement by the industry. Other technological improvements, such as the development of horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracturing, has allowed the commercial exploitation of massive unconventional oil and gas resources. As a consequence, the US, to whom Trinidad and Tobago once supplied up to 75% of its imported LNG, is now a major exporter of LNG. In a world where energy consumption is set to increase by about a third or so by 2040, according to BP 2018 Energy Outlook, there has to be accommodation between fossil fuels and renewables. What is required is the application of research and development to meet the growing global energy needs in a cost-effective and efficient manner, whether in unconventional oil and gas or in renewables like wind and solar. It has been reported that the oil and gas industry does not see competition from other sources of energy as a threat, but as a driver for competition. In this regard, technology is being pursued and applied primarily to enhance the industry's efficiency and competitiveness, which translate into higher returns. Therefore, there should be no reason why the oil and gas sector should be on a collision course with renewables. With world emission restraints or major changes in energy use or the patterns of energy demand. Indeed, many of the energy companies have been diversifying their portfolio to support the global energy push to a cleaner and greener future. Technology is evolving at an extremely rapid pace. Artificial intelligence application and the new possibilities of digital technology represent the new frontier of technology. As these technologies become established and systems such as carbon capture and storage, hydrogen utilization, and electricity storage become commercially viable, these will provide not setbacks, but rather exciting new opportunities in combination with the hydrocarbon sector. The government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago views the renewables as complementary energy sources to oil and gas. In this regard, based on the Paris Agreement, we have set a target of 10%. It was said yesterday that that's low. Renewable power generation by 2021. Pursuant to this objective, we have embarked on a waste-to-energy project and, more importantly, a utility-scale renewable energy power generation project. We have issued RFPs in respect to both projects and have had positive responses to date. The deadline for submissions are February 26, 2019 for the utility-scale renewable energy power generation project and May 31st for the waste-to-energy project. But ladies and gentlemen, we're doing this at a price. It is not public knowledge, but it is in some quarters, that when the TGU plant was built in Labrie, it was built to generate power for the aluminum smelter. The aluminum smelter project was canceled for reasons best known to the last administration. However, we were locked into a take-or-pay contract with TGU. When we assumed office in 2015, TNTech was paying TGU as much as 45 million TT dollars per month for power that it could not use. Since they built the Gandhi substation, for those of you who know the South, you can now transmit some of that power to the North. But still, as we speak today, TNTech still has a liability of approximately $25 million per month under the power purchase agreements. So when we bring our 10% renewables on track in 2021, assuming that we still have to pay $25 million per month for unused power, we're actually paying for it twice. That's the hard economic reality. It's not that we don't want renewables, but it's a bitter pill we have to swallow. The world is going renewables, and we will join the bandwagon. And we will latch our wagons to that train. However, it comes at a significant price, at least in the short term. The production of electricity from renewables has also seen a dramatic fall in costs. The International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, has reported that over the last decade, the cost of generating power from onshore wind has fallen 23% and 73% from photovoltaics. Technological advances have made power generation from renewable competitive with that generated by fossil fuel. IRENA has reported that the cost of generating power from onshore wind is US $0.06 per kilowatt hour and US $0.10 per kilowatt hour for solar photovoltaics. This compares with the average cost of US $0.047 charged by TNTech. As a result of new technological developments, the cost of generating power from renewables is predicted to continue to fall. In face of the competition from renewables and the movement to clean energy, oil and gas companies will need to increase their investment in research and development. Historically, oil and gas spent approximately 1% of net revenue on research and development. However, this is changing, and the oil and gas companies are increasing their investment in new technologies. These new technologies are shaping the industry's operation, unlocking resources previously considered unattainable, and resulting in improvements in efficiency and productivity while reducing the impact of operations and products on the environment. The sheer scale of the portfolio and investment of oil and gas companies in new technology is a major indicator of their commitment. It is a testimony to the industry's continuous effort to overcome contemporary threats armed with technology and taking a long-term view rather than a short-term. As a government, we share the same view with industry and sees innovation as a means of ensuring the relevance of this industry. We do have operating in Trinidad and Tobago upstream companies that have the same outlook and are committed to ensuring the industry is competitive. Therefore, we are of the view that the domestic energy sector is on solid footing. In confronting the future, it is those companies that innovate and invest that will remain competitive and so meet the challenges of an ever-changing energy landscape. In closing, I once again wish to congratulate the Energy Chamber for staging yet another successful conference on a very, very applicable and proper theme of technology, and to wish all participants an enriching experience, not only from the conference deliberation, but also from the sights and sound of our lovely Twin Island Republic. It's carnival time in any event, so you all deliberate hard, and there's lots to do in the night. So once again, I thank you very much.